Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be going over why your tracks on SoundCloud might not sound too good, particularly when there's white noise or something going on. This is caused, as far as I know, by peaks coming through when SoundCloud renders from WAV to MP3. So I'm going to be using Ozone 7 and FabFilter Pro L to demonstrate this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on ISPs right here. And this is our little readout here. So right now, the track is kind of squished a bit and it's clipping, even though it's being run through a limiter. This limiter right here, the Pro L is the last in the master chain. Right? It's detected 0.2 dB over 0, detected that peak. And yeah, that will be clipped out when you render to wave, which is something that we don't want. So I'm going to be using this just as a readout to see what's going on. In Ozone 7, I'm going to be using the maximizer, and I'm going to click on True Peak Limiting. So what this does is this oversamples the detection, and it'll catch all of those peaks. So now, right, it's no longer clipping. It's staying right at 0 because, and you can see the red readout here. Ozone, it's pretty good and it's detecting all those peaks and keeping them in check. So rendering this out as a wave right now, as far as I know, will not clip. But when you have that wave or whatever and you upload it to SoundCloud and then SoundCloud does its thing that introduces artifacts, and I'll give you an example of what's going on here. So you have your little codec feature down here, and I'll turn that on, and we'll do AAC 128 just as an example, and we will listen to it right here. These are the codec artifacts that we're going to be listening to, and they sound like this. Right? So we'll turn that off, and this is basically when this is enabled, this little speaker right here, we are listening to what it's going to sound like rendered as an MP3 or an AAC or whatever when there's compression involved. And compression adds artifacts. Those artifacts accumulate in the sound waveform, and you get, you guessed it, watch this. Right? We're peaking again. Holy crap, I'm so ashamed of myself right now. We're peaking again. That's even with true peaking on, right? So what's happening is it's adding all these artifacts, and like the MP3 codecs and modern codecs don't do well when there's a lot, when there's like no headroom. Like it panics. And what you do is you take a piece of white noise and you upload it to SoundCloud. Make sure the white noise is, peaking right at 0. You can limit it if you want. Make sure there's no ISPs, and then let it render, and then play it back, and it doesn't sound too good. It kind of sounds wishy-washy. And that's like a psychoacoustic thing that the MP3 does. And, it's whatever, but it's the thing that we've all agreed on. We have to live with it. So, how you kind of combat this is like modern record labels will have a different kind of mastering setup for each format. So, a different one for, well, vinyl, a different one for CD. But then, like the digital ones that they put out, they'll have like a different one for 320 and a different setup for 128. Um, because Amazon offers both those formats, kind of like 128, which is like near CD quality, and 320, which is whatever. So yeah, how you kind of combat this now, like no one's gonna mind if you give yourself a bit of like a ceiling. So what you do and what I do, you can't see at the bottom here, is I give myself about 2 dB of headroom or 1 dB of headroom, and that'll give you more than enough. I've rarely seen this with the codec feature turned on exceed 1. Um, so yeah, just or you can kind of give yourself an output ceiling of like half a dB right here or 2 full dB. But yeah, and that, everyone has a volume knob when they're listening to SoundCloud, and that'll prevent, that weird kind of wishy-washy artifact stuff that happens on SoundCloud. And anyway, hope you learn stuff. Feel free to like and comment or whatever. All right. Take care and have a good one.